So I took a little bit of hiatus and I'm back. I'm only about a week off with my posting, so it's not like it was crazy or anything, but figured I'd at least address it. I have things to share with you today. I can't share everything that I'm working on currently. I have 3 gifts in progress right now, so I'm not even going to show parts and pieces of those until they're finished and the recipients have them, but I do have some things I can show you today. So I'm going to start off with whips. Yep, that's where I'm going to start. So I actually have more to show on this because I worked on it like crazy. It's kind of tangled, hold on. It is the Dragonflight scarf that I've had on a couple of times now. It's all twisted. Let me make sure I have it the right way. Nope. So I've not only finished the first row of scales, which for this is the longest row of the shawl, I have integrated my second color. I have done more than that. I am starting my 5th row of scales. So here's what I have. I don't want to lose it off of the hook, but here, I'll start with this. You can kind of see what it's starting to look like now that I have colors and rows playing with each other. It's like decreasing by a full scale every row. And so I've done the Night Fury, Light Fury, Night Fury, Light Fury color, and I'm starting back in on my Night Fury color. This is Night Fury and Light Fury yarn, hand dyed by Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits, and I wanted to make something dragony with it, and this is the project. Again, it's kind of bunched up on the needles, but it'll be like a scarf once everything's finished. I haven't weighed these yet. It's supposed to, in theory, I have enough yarn, but I am kind of worried. Oh, my Skein, my cake kind of messed up in the bag. Oh, also my super cute project bag that I'm working out of by JSThreads. So this is what I have left of the Night Fury. And this is what I have left of the Light Fury, which is sparkly, by the way. You can kind of see it. It's shimmery. That is the only whip I can show today. Again, I'm working on 2 main ones and then one that I've been working on for months that's not really tied specifically to Christmas or anything, but they're all gifts, so I don't want to show them. So quick whips this episode, or whatever you want to call it. I do have a finished object too, and that is the little wine bottle topper I was working on the last video. So this is a little gnome. There's his little hat, and then he sits on the wine bottle like that. This is faux fur for the beard to make it nice and fluffy, and his little nose. And he's super cute. I'll insert a photo of what it looks like on a wine bottle, but it is so adorable sitting on a wine bottle, or, you know, whatever kind of bottle this fits on. It could go on other things too. It just slips over. But he is super cute. I love him, and I want to get a bunch of different other faux furs so that I can do different color combinations, because I think that would be fun. And I realized I forgot to share that I specifically threw on something I made today. Not that you haven't seen it if you've watched my other videos, but this is the cat cardigan. I'm wearing it for today. It's so warm. our apartment's been a little chilly and we haven't yet really used the heat much, so this has been very like comforting and warm and soft. I love it. Guess we're gonna be moving right along into future makes, and I'm doing this week because I had so little to share, so I thought it'd be fun to do like a here's what I'm looking forward to making once gift season is over. So I'll insert photos from Ravelry from the patterns so that you can see what the finished object will look like. But I really have been wanting to make the Party Punch shawl by Toni Lipsey, and I thought it would be really fun. I loved the speckle yarn she used for like her main modeled version that she shared when she was promoting the release of the pattern. And so I think this fingering weight yarn that I hand dyed out of the main knit crate box, I think it was earlier this year. They did a hand dyed with Kool-Aid box, and this is the speckle yarn I created with grape and cherry Kool-Aid. And it's super speckly, lots of pops of color. The purple's not really picking up from what I can tell on the camera very well, but there's lots of purple in here too. And I thought that would be a really pretty yarn to use and a chance to finally work with one of my own dyed yarns, to use it up and play with it and see how it works up in a project. And I think it's a 1 skein shawl, if I remember correctly. I can't remember how many yards it is off the top of my head, but I want to say that's part of how she advertised it, was that it was perfect for like a hank of yarn. So very excited to try that out. That'll probably not be cast on until cast on. I think it's a crochet. Can you cast on a crochet project? It'll be probably January, because I have something that I hope to do before then, after gifts are more underway. So I'm going to, the second project that I think would be fun to work on. It's been a little while since I've done an amigurumi, and I've had this one in my queue on Ravelry for a while. I'll insert a photo in the screen here, but it's a dragon fruit amigurumi, and it's a play on words, obviously, but it's a little dragon, and I love dragons. If you didn't know, I used to sculpt polymer clay dragons, and I've crocheted some too, but they hold a special place in my heart. And when I saw that pattern, I knew it had to happen. And it's cute because it's like, there's 2 in the photo you'll see. One's like a red version of a dragon fruit, one's like the typical, more traditional, like dark pink, and then it's like white and green for the accent colors, like a dragon fruit. And I just thought it was super cute. So I think that would be a fun break, because I've been doing a lot of like bigger things like garments and shawls, and once this knit project is done, I'm probably gonna be so tired of working on a shawl, so it'll be fun to just do something a little different. Like, that's why I love working on this test so much with the little gnome, because it was just a quick, fun, easy project to kind of give me a break in between the other things going on. So those are the 2 I'm looking forward to do in the immediate future. In fact, I bumped them up my queue on Ravelry because I had some like winter garments, not garments, like winter accessories. I think there was like a hat and another like a cowl and some socks and things that were toward the top that I've been wanting to work on, but I decided to do some rearranging, and that will be my next priority. Sorry, the sun is coming around, I'm realizing as I'm recording this, so we're having some weird lighting here, but okay, that's okay. So that is my looking forward to projects. And I will move next to things that I got in the mail. This one's not necessarily supporting a small business. It's Knit Picks just had their, I think I mentioned in my last video, their like one of their big annual sales that they do in November. And in that, I got yarn to go with a future sweater that I want to do. And then I also got bare yarn to hand dye for a project. And so I got like maybe 7 skeins of this Swish. Oh, that sun is just Swish DK, and it's the bare yarn. And I've heard really good things about this yarn and the way it dyes, and I have dyed with it since this arrived, and it was a lot of fun. Let's see if I can adjust the lighting, sorry. We're just gonna go with it. I dyed 4 skeins, so I have a couple left that I'm gonna just have for fun and do, I don't know, whatever kind of experimenting I want to do. This is not how it came. I shoved this this label on this hank that I did myself because it doesn't look very good. So I just felt like I had to address that. It came prettier than this. But it's a DK weight. Each skein has 246 yards for the 100 grams. And I don't know, I've been really liking working with DK weight yarn, so that's why I decided to order some DK, and it worked out for the project that I'm dyeing the yarn for, so there's that. But I thought it'd be fun to have some extras, whoops, sorry, some extras lying around in order to just have fun, play with dye. I have only been dyeing with food coloring and Kool-Aid. I've been watching a lot of Chemknit's YouTube videos, and she works a lot with like acid dyes now, but she started with food coloring, and that's where the Knit Crate box kind of started you off with. And so I just thought it was kind of a fun way to try out dyeing yarn without committing to like special equipment. I mean, if you really want to, you can, but with it being food coloring, I'm consuming it in other ways, so if it's safe for that, then I feel perfectly fine dyeing yarn in a pan, or pot I should say, with these food colorings. So I will show what I dyed later on, but in the meantime there's that. The second thing that I got in that sale was this City Tweed DK weight in jacquard. It's like this teal tweed. I've heard that this is a really fun yarn to work with. I haven't actually used it before, so I'm looking forward to doing that. It's definitely, I'd say it's more blue than green, but I feel like it's still like in that teal zone. I think that's a pretty accurate color, at least what I'm seeing. It'll show up different on different screens, but it's kind of like a oceany kind of blue, I'd say. So, and then the tweed is specks of like cream, medium browns, black. I think there's some darker browns in here. And I'm going to be using this for my, let's see, I can't remember what he renamed it. But I know I mentioned this in the other video. It used to be called the Sanderson sweater. I want to say it's now like Spellbound or something. I'll make sure to put the actual name once I remember it. But it's like a Halloween knit colorwork sweater. And it's the one that I'm going to pair these minis with to do the Sanderson Swiss Sisters, and I haven't figured out what other images I want to do yet, but it took me so long to figure out what color I wanted to do for my main color. But I think this is the color that will work with all of these, both with not clashing and not blending in. I wanted to pick a main color that wouldn't blend in with like the green or the orange, which were colors I was kind of tempted to do for my main color. I didn't want it to clash with the orange or the red, but I really think that it's going to look super pretty with these colors. I'm very excited. That'll be a next year project, but I figured I'd at least share it since the yarn did just come in the mail. I think I got each ball of yarn is 123 yards. So not very much in a ball, which is why I bought it on sale, because I think I bought like 13 balls of yarn. I needed quite a bit, and I knew I would need to wait until there was a serious sale going on. I think this is like $7 a skein normally. I'm very excited. Where does that leave us? I think that leaves us in our last section. So I found out about yarn advents this year, which I think is such a fun concept. Like having a yarn collection based around a theme, and then bringing in like pattern designers to create things specifically for that yarn. I love it all, and I've been having so much fun seeing other people opening their advents now that it is after December 1st. So earlier this year I asked my husband to get me for Christmas a yarn advent, and the one I chose was it's the Harry Potter Hogwarts. Each year has been a different year of the book, so like this year is the Goblet of Fire, year 4 by Hoard yarn and Yarn Cafe. You know what? I have it right here. Let me make sure. Dragon Hoard yarn. Oh my gosh. And Yarn Cafe Creations. They're a mother-daughter duo, I think, that have their own yarn businesses. And I'm not sure about Yarn Cafe Creations, but Dragon Hoard also does designs. I think they both did designs for this box. But I picked Hufflepuff because I'm a Hufflepuff, and it is day 5, so I have 5 mini skeins that I wanted to share with you as part of my advent. I had been posting on Instagram the days when I open them. I'm a little behind on doing that, but I have opened up through today, and I'm going to share them with you. And I'll keep doing this through December. And I don't want to record on a weekly basis for December because I don't have a lot that I can share at this time. But if I wait 2 weeks to record again, I'll have a lot of yarn to open up and share. So we'll see. For now, I only have 5. These so far, I think it's been 24 mini hanks that are like 20 grams. And then there is a 100 gram hank at the end on the 25th day. There's also going to be 2 patterns, it looks like, that are meant to be used with these yarns, and one of them comes out the 7th. I think the other is next week sometime, 14th, later on. So I didn't realize the patterns were going to be coming out later than the yarn would be opened, so I haven't been able to start on my project. I really want to see what the patterns are first before choosing something else. There have been so many fun advent patterns so far. Scarves, cowls, blankets. I mean, people are going nuts and sharing them, and I love it. I love seeing what people do with their advents. So I'm excited. I'm excited to start and see what ends up happening. This was day 1 by Dragon Hoard yarn, and it's called, I want to say Rita Skeeter Beetle. And that is this pink. Let's see if I can get this. It looks kind of red here, but I don't think it's like a deep, I mean, I guess it is kind of a little reddish, but mainly pink. There's some purples up here. There's Dragon Hoard. A skeeter, beetle, more purples. So that was day 1. Day 2, they're alternating so that like Dragon Hoard yarn is one day and Yarn Cafe Creations is another day. And I thought this yarn was so perfect when I opened it. Is that Hermione Granger. And this is referring to when she walks out in her dress for the first time. And everyone's just like, what? Hermione? And that was the perfect purple. Like, I don't think that could have been any more perfect of a match for that dress. So again, there's the label Yarn Cafe Creations. Is that Hermione Granger? There's like lighter tones and some speckling, but definitely more of like a tonal yarn. Day 3 was the first variegated. I think I'm using the terminology correctly. I'm still struggling there. Again, it's Dragon Hoard yarn for day 3, and this is called Portkey. So I haven't opened it yet to see what it looks like unfolded, but it's like blacks and pinks and like golden yellows, some speckling. I think that covers the colors for the most part. And then yep, this one was next. I had to remember because I just kind of have them sitting here. So day 4 is Yarn Cafe Creations again. This is called Fleur Delacour Picks a Welsh Green. And so, not gonna lie, one of the reasons I wanted this box is because they hinted at dyeing yarn based on the dragons of Goblet of Fire, which I loved reading about so much when I was reading Goblet of Fire. So this is beautiful green yarn. It has mostly like a foresty green, I would call it, with like brighter pops of like a vine green, if that makes sense. And it has some like darker and lighter undertones. Yeah, I think that covers it. It looks like there might be some like orange speckling, maybe slightly. Maybe that's just the way the color broke, but super pretty green. And then the 5th day, which catches us up to today, is by Dragon Hoard yarn, and it is called Mad Eye Moody. And that is this deep blue, like sapphire blue tonal. I'm gonna say tonal. See if that's a correct word or not. It does have some variation throughout the skein. Dark blues, almost like a dark purpley blue, a lighter sapphire blue. But yeah, you can really see that. So altogether, so far that leaves us with, oops. How do I share this without, well, you get the picture. That's what they look like. Let's see, we'll just keep them a little neater. So it'll be interesting to see if the patterns like recommend the way these are used, or if you just kind of go for it, or what. I don't know. Like I said, I've never done an advent before, so this is new territory for me. But I didn't know what to expect. But clearly this isn't a fade, which is fine. I am really enjoying the color so far. I've seen a couple that I think are a little too different between the different days for me. I really want to do something cohesive, but I realize the theme is a big thing too. So like these are all Harry Potter themed, book 4 themed, and I'm going to use them together. So it's just a matter of if I'm going to use one of the patterns that comes in the box or with the box, or if I decide on something else. But I really want to see what those are first before making that decision. I've been keeping notes based on people opening advents this year for things that I might want to get next year. I know my notes are on the phone, which I'm using to record this, so I can't quite remember off the top of my head who's made that list. I really wanted to do the Jimmy Beans one this year. They have a craft vent, and their Christmas one, I'm in love with the, see, they have a knit and a crochet pattern, and then they have 2 colorways, and I get the name mixed up with the name of the crochet pattern because there's a ginger snap. I think ginger snap wrap is the name of the actual pattern. Then I think cinnamon sugar is the name of the colorway, but it's this beautiful, fairly neutral I would say, but it's like golden yellows and warm browns and warm reds. Like very warm Christmas holiday colors that just make me so happy, and I really wanted to get that, but I'd already committed to this one and I didn't want to buy more than one this year. So, but I'm keeping notes for next year, and I'm excited to see. It's only day 5. I'm looking forward to, I open it first thing when I get up every morning to see what is going to be in today's advent, and so far I'm really happy with the colors that are coming out, and I'm just excited to see what keeps coming. So I'll be sure to keep sharing that over here. I don't think it's the kind of advent that has, like, some of them have extra goodies and some of them only have the yarn, but this I think is just like yarn and the patterns. From what I can tell, there weren't extra things in the package, which again is fine. I knew that when I purchased it, so but it's kind of fun seeing all the different variations that people offer, and I think it's awesome that people offer different price points. Like I think Dragon Hoard Yarn also did like a 12-day, maybe Yarn Cafe Creations did too, like 12-day advents that are like obviously they're smaller advents, but it still allows people who might not be able to afford a full-fledged advent to get some fun stuffs too, and I think that's awesome. So I'm excited to keep seeing other yarn dyers and their advents too, and mine. So I am gonna sign off because that is all I have for you today. Yeah. Until next time.